Once the human mind truly understands space, it never returns to normal. Not because something opens in the sky, not because of science fiction or fantasy, but because the universe forces the brain to confront something it wasn't designed to process. Distance without end, time without a clear beginning, and a reality far larger than any human story. Astronauts describe it, scientists acknowledge it, and ordinary people feel it the moment they stop scrolling and start looking up. This isn't about imaginary portals, it's about real psychological thresholds, moments when awareness expands, perspective shifts, and life quietly divides into before and after. And once that shift happens, there is no going back. Looking into space changes the human mind. Every human who has ever looked up at the night sky has felt it. That quiet pause, that sense of smallness, that strange mix of peace and unease. Space doesn't speak to us. It doesn't send messages. It doesn't open doors. And yet, it changes us. Astronauts, scientists, philosophers, and ordinary people all report the same thing. When you truly contemplate the universe, something inside you shifts. Your problems feel different. Your sense of time changes. Your identity softens. This isn't spiritual fantasy. It's psychological reality. The brain reacts strongly to vastness. The universe is not empty. It is active. Space looks empty, but it isn't. It is filled with radiation, gravity, magnetic fields, expanding space-time, constant motion. Galaxies are moving away from each other. Stars are being born and dying every second. Light from billions of years ago is still traveling toward us. When you look at the stars, you are not seeing the present. You are seeing the past. Some of the light reaching your eyes tonight began its journey before humans even existed. That fact alone is enough to alter perception, not because it's mystical, but because it breaks the illusion that now is all there is. Why humans experience portals when thinking about space in psychology? There is a well-documented effect called the overview effect. Astronauts describe it after seeing Earth from space. A sudden sense of unity, loss of ego-driven thinking, emotional overwhelm, a permanent shift in worldview. Many say they were never the same afterward. They didn't travel through a portal. They experienced a cognitive threshold. Their brain received information so large that their internal model of reality had to update. This is what people often describe as a portal moment. Not a door between worlds, a before and after in the mind. Space, as a psychological threshold the human brain evolved to survive on Earth. It was not built to intuitively understand infinity. So when we confront endless distance, billions of galaxies, time scales larger than human history, the brain does something fascinating. It reorganizes meaning. Questions appear. Who am I in all of this? What actually matters? How temporary is everything? This is why space has always been tied to transformation in human culture, not because space is magical, but because it destabilizes certainty. And uncertainty is where change begins. Portals as moments, not places in stories. Portals are shown as doors in space. In real life, portals are moments where your old beliefs collapse, your identity no longer fits your future. Feels undefined. These moments often happen during grief, love, leaving a familiar place, realizing you've outgrown your past. They feel intense because the brain is crossing a threshold. Neuroscience shows that major life changes literally rewire neural pathways. You are not the same person afterward. That's the portal. Time, space, and the feeling of another timeline. Physics tells us that time is not as simple as it feels. Time can stretch. It can slow. It can behave differently depending on speed and gravity. Humans don't feel this mathematically, but we feel it emotionally. After a major life event, people often say, "It feels like my life split into before and after." That's not imagination. Memory reorganizes itself around key moments. The brain marks them as transitions, like crossing a line you can't uncross. Why the universe feels personal even when it isn't, the universe does not care about us. And strangely, that's what makes it powerful. There is relief in realizing you are not the center. Your pain is not cosmic punishment. Your mistakes are not eternal at the same time. There is meaning in knowing you are made of star-forged elements. The atoms in your body were created in dying stars. You are literally part of cosmic history. This dual truth, small yet connected, creates deep internal shifts. Again, not mystical, just real. Why? People feel activated during certain cosmic events. Events like eclipses or solstices don't send energy to change your life, but they do something else. They interrupt routine. They remind humans that Earth moves time cycles. Nothing is static. Rituals, reflection, and attention increase during these moments. And attention is powerful. When attention changes, experience changes. That's why people associate these times with portals. Not because something opens in the sky, but because something opens in awareness. The portal is awareness itself. The most honest explanation is this: there are no doors in space waiting for us. But there are moments when awareness expands perspective, shifts identity, updates. These moments feel profound because they are irreversible. Once you see differently, you can't unsee. That is the true portal. You are already inside the universe's story. You are not observing the universe from outside. You are inside it. Every thought you have is happening within cosmic laws. Every emotion you feel is energy moving through matter. Every transformation you experience is part of a universe that never stops changing. Portals don't take you somewhere else. They remind you that you were never separate. Portals as points of no return in the human mind, one of the most important truths about portals, and one that is rarely explained clearly, is that a portal is not defined by what you enter. It is defined by what you cannot return to. In psychology and neuroscience, certain experiences permanently alter perception. Once altered, the brain does not revert to its previous state. This happens because the brain is predictive. It builds models of reality based on experience. When new information is powerful enough, the model must update. This is called cognitive restructuring. Space plays a unique role here. When humans learn, truly learn about the age of the universe, the scale of galaxies, the reality that Earth is not central, the fact that time existed long before us and will continue after the brain struggles at first. But once the update happens, something changes forever. You cannot unknow the scale of the universe. You cannot go back to believing life is static or permanent. You cannot fully return to ego-centered thinking once vastness is understood. This is why space education often causes existential shifts, not fear, not fantasy, but perspective. This is a real portal, a mental threshold crossed without ceremony, light or sound. The universe as a constant portal of change. Unlike fictional portals, the universe does not open occasionally. It is always in transition. Every second, space expands, stars burn fuel, matter reorganizes, time moves forward. Nothing in the universe is frozen. Even objects that appear still are moving at enormous speeds through space-time. Earth is rotating. Earth is orbiting the sun. The solar system is orbiting the galaxy. The galaxy itself is moving through space. You are never in the same position twice. This matters more than people realize, because humans often feel stuck, trapped, stationary. But the universe does not support stillness. Change is not an event. It is the default condition of reality. When people talk about entering a new phase or stepping into a new version of life, they are intuitively aligning with a truth physics already confirms. Nothing remains the same long enough to return to it. This is why portals resonate so deeply. They mirror the universe itself. not as doorways, but as directional movement. Once time moves forward, there is no reverse. Once awareness expands, there is no collapse. Once growth occurs, it cannot be undone. The universe doesn't offer portals. It is one, a continuous passage from what was into what becomes. Why humans feel called during major life shifts. Many people describe a strange feeling during major transitions in life. They say they feel called, not by a voice, not by a sign, but by an internal pressure to move forward. This often happens during endings of relationships, identity changes, long periods of uncertainty, moments of emotional clarity. From a scientific perspective, this call is not external. It is the brain recognizing that its current model of reality no longer works. When old beliefs fail to predict outcomes accurately, discomfort arises. That discomfort pushes change. The universe reflects this same principle. Stars do not last forever. When a star runs out of fuel, it doesn't decide to change. It must. Its internal structure becomes unstable. Collapse or transformation follows. Humans experience something similar psychologically. A portal moment is not chosen because it feels exciting. It appears because staying the same becomes impossible. The call is pressure. Pressure toward adaptation. Pressure toward alignment. Not magic. Not destiny. Just systems, human and cosmic, responding to instability. The difference between escaping reality and crossing a portal. It's important to separate two ideas that are often confused. Escape and transformation. Escape seeks relief without change. Transformation requires change without certainty. Fictional portals often represent escape, a way out, a shortcut, a reset. Real portals do the opposite. They remove shortcuts. When someone crosses a real psychological threshold, old coping mechanisms stop working, old narratives lose meaning, old versions of self feel unreachable. There is no going back to comfort, only forward into uncertainty. This mirrors how the universe behaves. There are no reversals in cosmic time. Stars do not regain lost fuel. Galaxies do not collapse back into their origins. Once entropy increases, direction is set. That is why real portals feel uncomfortable. They are not exits, they are commitments. And the universe, in every observable way, supports forward motion only. Why silence, space, and darkness trigger portal experiences. People often report their most intense realizations during silence, at night, in space-related imagery, while staring at the stars, during isolation. This is not coincidence. The brain is constantly filtering information. Noise keeps the filter busy. Silence removes distractions. Darkness reduces visual input. Vast space imagery removes familiar reference points. When familiar cues disappear, the brain turns inward. This is why astronauts report emotional overwhelm, why people feel different during nighttime, why space visuals trigger reflection. The universe is mostly empty, dark, and quiet. When humans mirror those conditions internally, self-awareness increases. Thoughts surface, beliefs are questioned, meaning reorganizes. This internal reorganization feels like crossing something. But again, nothing external happens. The portal is the absence of interference. How awareness changes without you noticing. One of the most misunderstood aspects of portals is timing. People expect a clear moment, a realization, a decision, a dramatic shift. But most real portals are crossed slowly. Awareness changes quietly. You notice it only in hindsight. You react differently than before. Old fears no longer control you. Certain conversations feel irrelevant. You feel distant from your past self. This is how the universe evolves too. Galaxies don't transform instantly. They drift. They stretch. They reorganize over millions of years. Change happens continuously, not theatrically. By the time you realize you crossed a threshold, you're already far beyond it. That's why portals feel mysterious. Not because they're hidden, but because awareness lags behind transformation. You don't step through a portal and announce it. You realize later that you already did. Time as the ultimate portal. If there is one portal humans cross constantly, it is time. Time does not feel like a doorway. It feels continuous, familiar, almost invisible. But in physics, time is not simply a background feature of reality. It is deeply connected to space itself. Space and time form a single structure. Space-time. Everything moves through it. Nothing escapes it. Nothing pauses it. You cannot step outside of time to observe it. You can only experience its direction. And that direction is one way. This is why time functions as the most absolute portal that exists. You cannot revisit a past state. You cannot undo awareness. You cannot return to a moment unchanged. Every second carries you forward, not dramatically, not symbolically, but mechanically. Humans feel this emotionally during moments of loss, growth, and realization. The phrase "there's no going back" is not metaphorical. It is literal. Time does not open. It does not close. It only moves, and every life is carried with it. Why humans fear irreversible change, fear of portals, is not fear of the unknown. It is fear of irreversibility. The human brain is designed to seek safety through predictability. Predictability creates the illusion of control. But the universe does not prioritize comfort. It prioritizes motion. Stars burn until they can't. Planets form and erode. Galaxies collide and reshape. Nothing consults preference. When humans resist change, they are resisting a universal rule. This resistance creates anxiety, not because change is wrong, but because control is limited. Portals feel threatening because they remove options. Once crossed, you cannot unlearn, you cannot unsee, you cannot unknow. That finality feels dangerous to the nervous system. Yet the universe demonstrates repeatedly that irreversible change is not destruction. It is continuation. Transformation does not end existence. It redirects it. How space teaches detachment without meaninglessness. One of the most common fears when contemplating the universe is meaninglessness. If we are so small, if the universe is so vast, does anything matter? Surprisingly, many people experience the opposite. They feel relief. Space removes unnecessary weight. It loosens the grip of ego-driven urgency. In the vastness of the universe, perfection becomes irrelevant. Comparison loses power. Minor failures stop defining identity. Detachment does not erase meaning. It refines it. When everything is temporary, attention becomes more intentional. This is why contemplating space often leads to calm rather than despair. The universe does not tell you that nothing matters. It shows you that not everything needs to, and that realization itself becomes a portal, a shift from pressure to perspective. The illusion of control in an expanding universe. Humans often believe control is necessary for stability. But the universe operates differently. Expansion is constant. Uncertainty is built in. Outcomes are probabilistic, not guaranteed. Even at the smallest scales of reality, events are influenced by probability rather than certainty. This does not mean chaos. It means flexibility. When people cross major internal portals, they often report the same realization. Control was never as solid as it felt. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means aligning with reality as it is. The universe does not ask permission to change. It simply does. And humans, as part of it, change too. Not because they are weak, but because they are alive. Why humans have always looked to the stars for meaning. Long before science had equations, humans looked upward. Not because they believed the stars had answers, but because the sky was the only thing larger than their fears. Every ancient civilization studied the night sky, to track time, to predict seasons, to understand cycles of life and death. The stars became reference points in an uncertain world. This wasn't superstition. It was survival. Patterns in the sky created stability on Earth. Over time, those patterns also shaped meaning. When humans realized the sky followed rules, they began to believe reality itself might be understandable. This belief, that existence is not random noise, is foundational to human psychology. Even today, when we know stars are nuclear furnaces and galaxies are vast systems, the emotional response remains. Looking at the universe reminds humans that they are part of something structured, even if that structure is too large to fully grasp. That realization doesn't give answers, but it changes the questions. And that shift, from fear to curiosity, is a portal humans have crossed again and again. The role of awe in human evolution, awe is one of the most powerful human emotions. It occurs when the mind encounters something too vast to immediately comprehend. Mountains, oceans, the night sky. Neuroscience shows that awe temporarily quiets the brain's focus on the self. Ego-driven thinking reduces, perspective widens, emotional regulation improves. This is not poetic language, it's measurable. When humans experience awe, they become more patient, more cooperative, less fixated on personal problems. Space is one of the most reliable triggers of awe, because it dwarfs human scale completely. This matters because awe creates openness, and openness is required for transformation. Without awe, beliefs remain rigid. Identities remain defended. Change feels threatening. With awe, the brain becomes flexible. This is why moments involving space, images of galaxies, Earth from orbit, endless stars, often coincide with deep personal realizations. Not because space is speaking, but because awe temporarily opens the mind's structure. And when the structure opens, something new can pass through. Stillness is not stagnation in the universe from a distance. Space appears still. Stars seem fixed. Galaxies look frozen. The night sky feels calm. But this is an illusion. Everything in space is moving at enormous speeds. Stillness in the universe does not mean inactivity. It means motion without noise. Humans often misunderstand stillness the same way. They fear that pausing means falling behind, that silence means emptiness, that uncertainty means failure. But real transformation often occurs during stillness. Periods where nothing seems to happen externally, no visible progress, no dramatic changes, no clear direction internally. Systems are reorganizing. Just as galaxies slowly reshape over millions of years, humans restructure identity quietly. This is why many portals are crossed during periods that feel uneventful. The mind integrates, the nervous system adapts, old patterns dissolve without announcement. By the time movement resumes, you are no longer who you were before. Stillness was not a pause, it was a passage. After the portal, the calm that follows understanding the final stage of a portal is rarely discussed. After fear, after confusion, after expansion, there is calm, not excitement, not certainty, but acceptance. When humans integrate a new understanding of the universe, of time, scale, impermanence, something softens. The need to control reduces. The urgency to define everything fades. Life becomes less about resistance and more about alignment. This does not mean detachment from emotion. It means freedom from constant tension. The universe does not rush. It expands steadily. It evolves without panic. When humans align with this rhythm, they often describe feeling grounded, even in uncertainty, not because answers were found, but because the need for absolute answers dissolved. The portal did not lead somewhere new. It revealed where you already were, inside a universe that is moving, changing, and carrying you forward, whether you resist it or not. Identity after a cosmic perspective. When people begin to truly understand the scale of the universe, identity subtly changes. Not dramatically, not all at once. Quietly. Before this shift, Identity is often built around roles. What you do, what you've achieved, how others see you, what you fear losing. But when perspective expands, these markers lose some of their weight. The universe does not recognize titles. It does not respond to status. It does not reinforce personal narratives. And this realization does not erase identity. It loosens it. People often report feeling less defined but more authentic, less certain but more honest, less attached but more present. In astrophysics, objects are defined not by what they claim to be, but by how they interact with surrounding systems. Stars are not labels, they are processes. In the same way, identity after a cosmic perspective becomes less about definition and more about participation. You are not a fixed object. You are something in motion. That realization is not loss, it is expansion. While letting go feels like loss, at first, one of the most misunderstood aspects of transformation is grief. Even positive change includes loss. When an old version of yourself dissolves, the brain reacts as if something has died. This is not weakness, it is biology. Neural pathways built over years do not disappear instantly. They resist change, they signal discomfort. This is why people often feel sadness or fear after growth, even when the growth is healthy. The universe shows this pattern everywhere. Stars do not become something new without collapse. Supernovae occur when balance can no longer be maintained. Old structures give way so new ones can form. Letting go feels like loss because something real is ending. But endings in the universe are not failures. They are transitions of form. When people understand this, they stop fighting the grief. They allow it. And grief, when not resisted, becomes integration. Living with uncertainty without fear, the universe operates without guarantees. Orbits can shift. Stars can extinguish. Systems evolve beyond prediction. Yet the universe does not experience anxiety. Fear arises from the desire for certainty, not from uncertainty itself. Humans are taught to equate stability with safety, but cosmic reality suggests something different. Stability is temporary. Adaptation is constant. When people cross a major internal portal, they often realize that certainty was never promised. What changes is not the level of uncertainty, but the relationship to it. Instead of asking, how do I control what happens next? The question becomes, how do I respond to what unfolds? This shift reduces fear. Not because the future becomes clear, but because flexibility replaces rigidity. The universe does not plan outcomes. It adjusts conditions. Learning to live this way is not passive, it is resilient. The quiet maturity that comes from seeing the bigger picture maturity is often mistaken for confidence. In reality, maturity is comfort with not knowing. People who have absorbed a cosmic perspective tend to speak less dramatically about life. Not because life feels smaller, but because it feels wider. They react less impulsively. They attach less desperately. They observe more before responding. This mirrors the universe itself. Large systems change slowly. They absorb disturbances without collapsing. They remain stable because they are flexible. After a portal experience, many people notice this quiet shift. Less urgency, less comparison, more presence. Not detachment from life, but deeper engagement with it. The universe does not rush toward meaning, it unfolds it. And when humans align with that rhythm, they stop asking where the portal leads. They realize they are already moving with it, meaning without certainty. One of the hardest ideas for the human mind to accept is this: meaning does not require certainty. Humans often search for meaning as if it is a fixed destination, a final answer that, once found, brings peace. But the universe does not operate that way. In cosmology, there is no final frame of reference, no central point, no privileged perspective. Everything depends on where you stand. Meaning works the same way. It is not embedded into the universe like a rule. It emerges through relationship. between people, between moments, between awareness and experience. This realization can feel unsettling at first. If nothing is guaranteed, if no ultimate explanation arrives, what anchors life? The answer is simpler than expected. Attention. What you give attention to gains meaning, not because it is eternal, but because it is lived. The universe does not assign purpose. It allows participation, and participation, even without certainty, is enough. Why small moments matter in a vast universe. When confronted with cosmic scale, people often dismiss small moments. A conversation, a quiet walk, a single breath. They seem insignificant compared to galaxies and time spans. But this comparison misunderstands scale. In physics, importance is not defined by size. It is defined by interaction. A single particle can alter a system. A small force can change direction. A brief event can reshape long-term outcomes. Human experience works the same way. A short moment can change a life, not because it lasts, but because it reorients perception. The universe is vast, but experience is local. You do not live at the scale of galaxies. You live at the scale of moments. And that does not diminish meaning. It focuses it. Smallness does not erase significance. It makes presence possible. Presence as the final portal after all transformations, after all questions, after all perspective shifts. People often arrive at the same realization: the present moment is the only place life occurs. This is not philosophical, it is factual. The past exists as memory. The future exists as anticipation. Only the present contains sensation, thought, and awareness. In physics, the present is complex and difficult to define, but in experience, it is undeniable. Every portal ultimately leads here, not to escape, not to transcend reality, but to inhabit it fully. Presence is not passive, it is alert, responsive, engaged. When people stop searching for the next threshold, they often discover they are already standing in the only one that matters. Now, living fully without needing final answers, the final shift is subtle. It is not the discovery of truth. It is comfort with incompleteness. The universe does not reveal everything, and it never promises to. Yet life continues to be rich, complex, and deeply felt. People who integrate this understanding do not become indifferent. They become grounded. They care without clinging. They act without certainty. They commit without guarantees. This is not resignation. It is alignment. The universe does not rush toward resolution. It unfolds moment by moment. Living fully does not mean knowing where everything leads. It means participating honestly while it unfolds. The portal was never something you entered. It was the gradual realization that you are already inside the process, moving, changing, and alive within a universe that is doing the same. What remains when the search ends? At some point in every long search, something unexpected happens. The questions don't disappear, but the urgency behind them does. For much of human history, searching for meaning was tied to survival. Understanding seasons, stars, and patterns meant staying alive. Knowledge reduced uncertainty, but modern humans face a different kind of search. Not how to survive, but how to orient themselves in a universe that feels overwhelming. When people reach the later stages of this search, they often notice something surprising. What remains is not an answer, but a stance, a way of relating to reality. Science mirrors this. In cosmology, every discovery opens new questions. Dark matter explains gravity, but not origin. Dark energy explains expansion, but not cause. Even time itself remains partially undefined. There is no final explanation waiting at the edge of understanding. Yet scientific inquiry continues, not because certainty is guaranteed, but because curiosity itself is meaningful. What remains when the search ends is not knowledge, but engagement. Participation in a universe that can be explored, even if it can never be fully explained. This realization marks a quiet portal from demanding answers to living with inquiry. Wonder without needing to believe wonder is often confused with belief. But they are not the same. Belief seeks certainty. Wonder accepts mystery. Science is built on wonder, not belief. Every major scientific breakthrough began with a question, not a conclusion. When humans look at the universe with wonder, they are not claiming it has intention or purpose. They are acknowledging complexity. The universe is structured, it follows laws, it behaves consistently, and yet its full nature remains unknown. This balance between structure and mystery is what keeps curiosity alive. You do not need to believe the universe is watching you to feel moved by it. You do not need to assign meaning to galaxies to feel awe when seeing them. Wonder does not require explanation. It requires attention, and attention changes perception. This is why wonder itself feels transformative. It reopens curiosity without demanding certainty. A quiet, stable portal, not into belief, but into openness. The human place in an infinite story. Humans often struggle with the idea of infinity. Infinity feels abstract, impersonal, and difficult to relate to. But infinity does not erase the human role. It contextualizes it. In astrophysics, no single object defines the universe. Not stars, not galaxies, not even space itself. Everything exists in relation. Humans are no different. We are not central, but we are participants. Our atoms were formed in stellar processes. Our planet formed through cosmic mechanics. Our consciousness emerged through evolutionary time. This places humans not outside the universe, but deeply inside its processes. You are not observing an infinite story from the sidelines. You are a localized expression of it. Your thoughts, actions, and awareness occur within cosmic rules. That does not make them insignificant. It makes them specific, and specificity matters. A story does not require a center to be meaningful. It requires experiences within it. This understanding reframes the idea of a portal once again. Not a gateway to somewhere else, but recognition of where you already are. The quiet ending that is also a beginning. There is no dramatic conclusion to understanding the universe. No final realization, no closing statement. What comes instead is a kind of quiet clarity. You stop expecting reality to resolve itself into a single explanation. You stop demanding certainty before engagement. You stop waiting for meaning to arrive fully formed, and something subtle begins. You live more attentively. You react less defensively. You allow questions to exist without pressure. This is not disengagement, it is maturity. In physics, systems that endure are not rigid. They adapt, they absorb change, they remain open. The same is true for human understanding. The story does not end with knowledge, it continues with participation. The portal was never crossed in a moment. It was crossed gradually, through learning, through reflection, through awareness. And now, without fanfare, you continue. Inside a universe that expands, within time that moves forward, as a conscious participant in a story that does not need to end in order to matter. Consciousness as a product of the universe, consciousness often feels separate from the universe. Thoughts feel private. Awareness feels internal. Experience feels personal. But from a scientific perspective, consciousness is not outside the universe. It is something the universe does under certain conditions. The atoms in the human brain are not special in origin. They are the same atoms found in stars, planets, and interstellar space. What makes them different is organization. Over billions of years, matter arranged itself into increasingly complex systems. Stars formed, planets stabilized, chemistry evolved, biology emerged. Consciousness appears to be a result of this long process, not an addition to the universe, but an expression of it. When humans reflect on the universe is effectively observing itself. This is not poetic metaphor. It is a logical consequence of being part of the same physical system. Understanding this often shifts identity once again. You are not a mind trapped inside a vast cosmos. You are a localized process within it. That realization alone can feel like crossing another portal, one where separation dissolves and participation becomes clear. Why the brain creates stories about reality. The human brain does not experience raw reality directly. It interprets. Sensory information is filtered, organized, and woven into narratives. This is how meaning is created. Stories are not lies. They are tools. They help the brain predict outcomes, maintain identity, create continuity over time. When confronted with the universe's scale, the brain naturally builds stories to make sense of it. Portals, timelines, thresholds. These concepts help the mind process change. Problems arise only when stories are mistaken for literal truth. Science does not remove stories. It refines them. It replaces rigid explanations with flexible models. It allows understanding to evolve. When people realize this, they stop asking whether a story is real and start asking whether it is useful. A portal, then, is not a doorway in space. It is a story the brain uses to understand irreversible change, and that makes it no less meaningful, just more honest. The science of perspective and scale is one of the most difficult concepts for the human brain. We evolved to understand meters, minutes, and lifetimes, not light years, deep time, or cosmic expansion. This mismatch creates emotional reactions. Smallness can feel threatening, vastness can feel overwhelming, but scale does not assign value. In physics, small systems and large systems follow the same fundamental laws. Atoms and galaxies obey the same principles. Perspective changes interpretation, not importance. A human life may be brief on a cosmic timeline, but within that scale, it contains complexity, emotion, and awareness. The universe does not rank experiences by size. It simply allows them to occur. Understanding scale properly removes unnecessary comparison. You do not need to be infinite to be meaningful. You only need to exist where you are. This recalibration of scale is another quiet portal, one that replaces insignificance with clarity. Living responsibly inside a vast cosmos, a cosmic perspective does not lead to indifference. It leads to responsibility. When people realize they are not separate from the universe, their actions feel connected rather than isolated. Earth is not a background. It is a fragile system within a much larger one. Life is not guaranteed. It is contingent. This awareness often deepens care for the planet, for other people, for future generations. Responsibility does not come from believing humans are central. It comes from understanding that we are participants. We affect systems we depend on. We influence futures we will never see. The universe does not demand responsibility, but understanding naturally invites it. To live responsibly in a vast cosmos is not to feel burdened by scale, but to act thoughtfully within it. That may be the most grounded portal of all, the shift from self-centered survival to conscious participation. Mortality and meaning in cosmic time. When humans begin to understand cosmic time, mortality takes on a different shape. On a universal scale, a human lifespan is brief. Measured against billions of years, it is nearly invisible. At first, this realization can feel unsettling. If life is so short, does it matter? But cosmic time does not diminish meaning, it reframes it. In astrophysics, short-lived events often matter greatly. Supernovae are brief compared to stellar lifetimes, yet they create the heavy elements that make planets and life possible. Duration is not the measure of significance. Impact is. Human lives are finite, but within that finitude exists awareness, choice, and experience. Mortality is not a flaw in the system. It is a condition that allows change, urgency, and care. If time were endless, attention would lose focus. Meaning would dilute. Cosmic time reminds humans that limits are not punishments. They are structures that allow experience to matter. Why acceptance is not giving up acceptance is often misunderstood as resignation. In reality, acceptance is alignment with reality as it is, rather than resistance to what cannot be changed. The universe offers countless examples of this principle. Planets do not resist gravity. Stars do not fight fusion. Systems evolve by responding, not denying. Human suffering often increases when energy is spent resisting inevitability, aging, loss, uncertainty, change. Acceptance does not mean passivity. It means clarity. When people accept what cannot be controlled, they free attention for what can be influenced. Choices, responses, care, learning. This shift often feels like another portal, one that leads not to certainty, but to steadiness. The universe does not struggle against its own laws. Humans suffer less when they stop doing so as well. Curiosity is a lifelong orientation. Curiosity is one of the most stable human responses to uncertainty. It does not demand answers. It invites exploration. Science exists because curiosity persists despite incomplete understanding. Every discovery leads to new questions, not final conclusions. Curiosity is adaptive. It keeps the mind flexible. It prevents stagnation. In the context of the universe, curiosity allows humans to engage without needing control. You do not need to solve existence to participate in it. You only need to remain open to learning. People who maintain curiosity across their lives often experience less existential anxiety, not because they know more, but because they are comfortable not knowing everything. Curiosity transforms uncertainty from a threat into an invitation, and that orientation sustains growth long after certainty fades. What it means to belong to the universe belonging is usually framed socially, to a group, a place, a culture. But there is another form of belonging that is quieter and broader, cosmic belonging. To belong to the universe does not mean being special, it means being included. Your body follows physical laws. Your thoughts arise from natural processes. Your existence depends on cosmic history. You are not an observer placed into the universe. You are a result of it. This understanding dissolves the sense of isolation many people feel when confronting vastness. You are not lost in the universe. You are occurring within it. Belonging at this scale does not require identity or belief. It requires recognition that separation is conceptual, not physical. And with that recognition, the long search for portals, answers, and thresholds softens into something simpler. You are never outside the story. You have always been part of it. The end of the search and the beginning of attention for many people, there comes a moment when the search itself changes. Not because all questions have been answered, but because the need to chase answers softens. This is not intellectual surrender. It is cognitive maturity. In science, researchers do not stop asking questions when they reach a conclusion. They refine their focus. They deepen observation. They become more precise. Human understanding follows the same pattern. Early in the search for meaning, attention is scattered. The mind jumps from idea to idea, hoping something will resolve uncertainty. Later, attention becomes steadier. Instead of asking, what is the ultimate truth? The question becomes, what is actually happening right now? This shift is subtle but powerful. Attention moves from abstraction to experience, from speculation to observation, from distant concepts to immediate reality. The universe does not require humans to solve it. It only requires that they exist within it. When attention returns to the present, the search does not end, it transforms. Living gently. In a vast reality, understanding the scale of the universe often produces a surprising response. Gentleness, not weakness, not indifference, gentleness. When people recognize how rare stability is, how fragile ecosystems are, how unlikely conscious life may be, their relationship with the world often softens. Aggression loses urgency. Excess loses appeal. Constant striving begins to feel unnecessary. This is not because ambition disappears, but because perspective deepens. In astrophysics, balance is what allows systems to endure. Too much force destabilizes, too little collapses. Human life is similar. Living gently does not mean avoiding effort. It means applying energy carefully, toward what matters, toward what sustains, toward what lasts. A cosmic perspective does not push humans to dominate reality. It invites them to coexist with it. The quiet confidence of understanding limits. One of the most stabilizing realizations a person can have is understanding where their influence ends. Limits are often framed as failures, but in reality, limits define structure. In physics, limits make systems predictable. Constants allow equations to function. Boundaries create form. Without limits, nothing holds shape. Human confidence often grows not from limitless belief, but from clear understanding of capacity. You cannot control the universe. You cannot predict every outcome. You cannot prevent all loss. And once this is fully understood, something unexpected happens. Anxiety decreases. Energy is no longer wasted on impossible control. Focus shifts to meaningful action within real boundaries. This is not giving up. It is grounding. The universe does not exceed its laws. Humans thrive when they stop demanding to exceed theirs. Carrying the cosmic perspective into daily life, the final integration of cosmic understanding does not happen in moments of awe. It happens in ordinary life, in how you respond to inconvenience, in how you treat others, in how you care for your environment, in how you relate to time. Cosmic perspective does not remove emotion. It contextualizes it. Frustration still arises. Joy still appears. Loss still hurts. But these experiences are held within a wider frame. You begin to notice cycles rather than failures, patterns rather than chaos, processes rather than punishment. The universe is not teaching lessons. It is demonstrating conditions. And daily life becomes a place where those conditions are lived, not theorized. The portal was never a moment of escape. It was the gradual alignment of understanding with reality. And that alignment continues, quietly, consistently, and honestly. Every day you participate in the universe by simply being here. Peace without answers. One of the most unexpected outcomes of deep understanding is peace without resolution. For much of life, peace is imagined as something that comes after answers, after certainty, after clarity. But the universe does not operate with final answers. In cosmology, many of the most fundamental questions remain open. What existed before the Big Bang? What is dark energy? Why do physical constants have the values they do? Despite this uncertainty, science does not collapse. It progresses. This shows something important. Stability does not require completion. It requires coherence. Humans experience something similar. Peace emerges not when every question is answered, but when uncertainty is no longer interpreted as a threat. The nervous system relaxes when it no longer expects closure. The mind steadies when it stops demanding finality. Peace without answers is not ignorance. It is acceptance of complexity. And complexity is not a problem to solve. It is a condition to live within. Living as a moment in cosmic time, every human life exists as a moment in cosmic time. This is not symbolic. It is literal. The universe has existed for approximately 13.8 billion years. Human consciousness occupies a tiny interval within that span. But moments are not insignificant because they are brief. In physics, many defining events are moments, particle interactions, nuclear reactions, phase transitions. Short events can alter entire systems. Human lives function the same way. A life does not need to last forever to matter. It needs to occur fully where it exists. When people understand this, the pressure to be permanent fades. Attention shifts toward presence rather than legacy, experience rather than permanence. You are not meant to outlast the universe. You are meant to occur within it, and that is enough. Wonder without expectation. Wonder is often tied to anticipation. People expect wonder to lead somewhere, to insight, to revelation, to meaning. But the most stable form of wonder has no expectation attached to it. It is simply openness to what is. The night sky does not promise understanding. It offers scale, pattern, and mystery. When expectation is removed, wonder becomes sustainable. It does not exhaust the mind. It does not demand belief. It does not turn into disappointment. It becomes a way of relating. Science itself operates this way. Curiosity persists, even when answers remain incomplete. Wonder without expectation allows engagement without pressure, observation without control, appreciation without ownership. This form of wonder does not fade with time. It deepens. The story continues. There is no final chapter to the universe. No closing statement, no conclusion. Expansion continues. Stars form and die. Systems evolve. Human understanding follows the same pattern. There is no moment when everything resolves. There is only continued participation. The story does not end because it was never moving toward an ending. It was moving forward. Each generation inherits questions. Each individual carries awareness for a brief time. Each moment contributes to an ongoing process. The search for portals, answers, and thresholds ultimately leads here. Recognition that life is not a puzzle to complete, but a process to inhabit. The universe continues, and so do you. For as long as you are here, not separate, not lost, but participating, moment by moment, in a story that does not need to end to be meaningful. Cycles are how the universe remembers. The universe does not remember in the way humans do. There is no archive, no memory storage, no record of what once was, and yet nothing is truly lost. In cosmology, matter and energy are conserved. They change form, but they do not disappear. Stars burn hydrogen into heavier elements. When they die, those elements scatter into space. New stars and planets form from that same material. This is how the universe remembers, through cycles. Human life follows a similar structure. Experiences do not vanish when they end. They are reorganized into memory, behavior, and understanding. Loss becomes wisdom. Change becomes adaptation. Endings become conditions for beginnings. Portals, in this sense, are not exits. They are transitions within cycles. Nothing breaks continuity. It only rearranges it. Why the mind needs continuity in a vast reality, one of the brain's primary tasks is creating continuity. Without it, experience would feel fragmented and unstable. The mind links moments together into a story, past, present, future. This narrative structure is not deception. It is stabilization. In a universe where everything changes, continuity allows consciousness to function. But when change becomes too rapid or too large, the narrative briefly collapses. This is when people report feeling disoriented, detached, or as if they have crossed into something unfamiliar. What is actually happening is a temporary gap between old understanding and new context. The brain catches up. It always does. Portals feel intense because continuity is being rebuilt in real time. Once rebuilt, the unfamiliar becomes familiar again, just at a wider scale. The difference between knowing and integrating learning about the universe is not the same as integrating that. Knowledge. Many people know the universe is vast. Few actually feel it. Integration happens slowly. It shows up not in thoughts, but in reactions. You notice less urgency in conflict, more patience, with uncertainty reduced attachment, to outcomes greater tolerance for complexity. This is not emotional numbness. It is contextual awareness. In physics, a system is considered stable not when nothing moves, but when change no longer causes collapse. Human understanding stabilizes the same way. When cosmic perspective is integrated, life continues, but it feels less brittle. That is the true effect of a portal, not dramatic change, but increased resilience. Continuity without control. The final misunderstanding many people face is believing continuity requires control. The universe disproves this constantly. No one controls galactic motion. No force plans stellar evolution. No intelligence manages cosmic expansion. And yet, structure exists. Order emerges. Patterns repeat. Systems endure. Continuity does not come from control. It comes from interaction. Humans do not need to manage existence to participate meaningfully in it. Life continues whether it is directed or not. Understanding this removes unnecessary pressure. You do not have to hold the universe together. You only have to live within it. And that realization, quiet, grounding, and stabilizing, is often the last portal people cross, not into something new, but into a deeper acceptance of what has always been happening. Change without crisis. Most people expect change to arrive as disruption, a breakdown, a turning point, a dramatic event that forces transformation. But in both the universe and human life, the most enduring change happens quietly. In astrophysics, galaxies evolve slowly. Their shapes shift over millions and billions of years. There is no single moment when a galaxy becomes something else. Human change often follows the same pattern. Beliefs adjust incrementally. Priorities shift subtly. Reactions soften over time. One day, you notice you are no longer who you were, not because something broke, but because something integrated. This is change without crisis. It is less visible, less dramatic, but far more stable. Portals do not always open through collapse. Sometimes they open through continuity. And because nothing shattered, nothing needs to be rebuilt. Why awareness feels lonely at first. As awareness expands, many people experience a sense of isolation. Not because they are disconnected from others, but because their internal reference points have changed. When perspective widens, certain conversations feel smaller. Certain concerns lose urgency. Certain attachments loosen. This can feel like distance. But in reality, it is recalibration. In space science, when instruments gain sensitivity, they detect signals previously unnoticed. At first, this creates noise. Then, clarity. Human awareness works the same way. Increased perception can feel lonely until it stabilizes into understanding. This phase is temporary. Eventually, awareness does not separate you from others. It allows you to meet them without projection. Loneliness is not the destination. It is a transitional state while the mind adapts to a wider view. Another quiet portal, brief, necessary, passing. Simplicity after complexity. Understanding the universe often begins with complexity. Equations, theories, models, endless information. But over time, something unexpected happens. Understanding simplifies. Not because reality becomes simple, but because unnecessary layers fall away. In physics, elegant theories are valued not for being basic, but for explaining much with little. Human understanding matures the same way. After exploring meaning, scale, uncertainty, and time, many people return to simple truths. Attention matters, kindness matters, presence matters not because these ideas are small, but because they are fundamental. Simplicity is not regression, it is refinement. It is what remains when complexity is integrated. The long view of a short life from the perspective of the universe. A human life is brief. From the perspective of experience, it is full. Both statements are true. Holding them together is one of the final adjustments a person makes after adopting a cosmic perspective. You begin to see your life as both a fleeting moment in cosmic time, a complete experience in itself. This dual awareness changes how time feels. You waste less energy on trivial permanence. You value moments without demanding they last. You act with care without expecting eternity. The universe does not measure worth by duration. It measures nothing at all. Meaning arises locally, within experience, within attention. And that understanding, steady, grounded and quiet, allows a short life to be lived with depth, clarity and peace. Peace with impermanence. Impermanence is often framed as a problem. Things change. People leave. Moments pass. The mind resists this because it is built to seek stability. Predictability once meant survival. But the universe does not resist impermanence. It is structured around it. In physics, nothing is static. Even the most stable systems exist in balance only temporarily. Energy shifts. Matter transforms. Time advances. Impermanence is not a flaw in reality. It is the mechanism that allows reality to exist at all. When people stop fighting impermanence, peace becomes possible. Not because loss disappears, but because loss is no longer interpreted as failure. Moments are allowed to end. Experiences are allowed to complete. Lives are allowed to be finite. Peace with impermanence does not numb emotion. It allows emotion to move through without turning into resistance. This acceptance marks another quiet portal, one that leads not to detachment, but to ease. The end of resistance. Resistance consumes enormous energy. Resisting change, resisting uncertainty, resisting limits. Much of human stress does not come from events themselves, but from the effort to oppose what cannot be altered. The universe offers a clear contrast. Rivers do not resist gravity. Planets do not argue with orbits. Stars do not struggle against fusion. They respond. They adjust, they transform. When humans release resistance, life does not become effortless, but it becomes less exhausting. This does not mean passivity, it means responsiveness. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the question becomes, "What is required now?" This shift conserves energy, it clarifies action, it stabilizes emotion. The end of resistance is not the end of effort. It is the end of unnecessary struggle. Living in rhythm with reality. Rhythm is one of the universe's most consistent features. Day and night, expansion and contraction, birth and dissolution. Even chaos follows patterns. Humans often suffer when they try to live outside of rhythm, rushing rest, forcing certainty, demanding permanence. Living in rhythm does not mean predicting the future. It means aligning behavior with conditions. Rest when energy is low, act when clarity is present, pause when uncertainty dominates. In neuroscience, rhythms regulate the body, sleep cycles, breathing patterns, heartbeats. Ignoring rhythm destabilizes systems. Respecting it restores balance. A cosmic perspective encourages this alignment. You stop trying to outrun time. You stop demanding consistency from a changing world. You learn when to move and when to wait. This is not control. It is cooperation. Nothing left to cross at some point. The idea of a portal dissolves. Not because growth ends, but because the metaphor is no longer needed. There is no final threshold, no last door, no ultimate crossing. There is only continued movement. Understanding deepens, perspective widens, life unfolds. The desire to arrive fades. What remains is participation, steady, grounded, present. You are no longer searching for a passage to somewhere else. You are living within what is already happening. The universe does not move toward completion. It moves forward, and so do you, not toward an ending, but within an ongoing process that does not require resolution to be meaningful. Stillness without stopping stillness is often misunderstood as the absence of movement. But in the universe, stillness rarely means inactivity. From a distance, stars appear fixed. Galaxies seem frozen. Space looks calm, yet every part of the universe is in motion. Atoms vibrate, planets orbit, space-time itself expands. Stillness, then, is not stopping. It is movement without friction. Human stillness works the same way. Moments of calm are not moments where life pauses. They are moments where resistance drops. The mind stops fighting what is happening. Attention settles. Energy redistributes. This kind of stillness allows perception to sharpen. You notice more because you are pushing less. In neuroscience, reduced mental noise improves clarity. The brain processes information more efficiently when it is not overloaded by urgency. Stillness is not disengagement from life. It is alignment with its actual pace. A quiet portal, not into escape, but into clearer participation. Trusting the process without belief. Trust is often confused with belief. Belief requires certainty. Trust does not. Trust is the willingness to move forward without complete information. The universe does not provide reassurance. It provides consistency. Physical laws hold. Patterns repeat. Cause and effect operate reliably. Human trust develops the same way. Not by believing everything will turn out a certain way, but by learning, through experience, that you can respond to what unfolds. Trusting the process does not mean expecting good outcomes. It means knowing you can adapt to real ones. This reduces fear. When people stop demanding guarantees, they stop bracing for disappointment. They become responsive instead of defensive. Trust, in this sense, is not faith in the universe. It is confidence in participation. You don't need to believe the universe is guiding you. You only need to recognize that you are capable of navigating it. The freedom of not needing more. Much of human restlessness comes from the idea that something is missing. More clarity, more meaning, more certainty, more progress. But after long exploration, many people arrive at a different understanding. Nothing essential was missing. The universe does not move toward accumulation. It moves through transformation. Stars do not gather endlessly. They reach limits, stabilize, or collapse into something new. Human fulfillment follows a similar pattern. Freedom emerges not from adding more, but from releasing unnecessary demand. Not needing more does not mean rejecting growth. It means recognizing sufficiency in the present state. When the pressure to complete oneself disappears, attention becomes available for living. This is not complacency. It is contentment without stagnation, a form of freedom that does not require escape. A life lived inside the universe. At the end of this long reflection, nothing extraordinary is revealed. There is no hidden structure behind reality, no final explanation waiting beyond understanding. What remains is simple and factual. You live inside the universe. Not apart from it, not above it. Your body follows its laws. Your thoughts arise from its processes. Your time unfolds within its direction. This does not reduce the value of a human life. It grounds it. A life lived with this awareness becomes quieter, but also fuller, less driven by fear, less burdened by permanence, more attentive to what is real. You do not need to cross another portal. You do not need to arrive anywhere else. You are already where life is happening, inside a universe that continues, with or without explanation, and within it, a brief, meaningful moment called you. Awareness without distance at first. Awareness can feel like separation. When perspective expands, people sometimes feel as if they are standing outside their own lives, observing instead of participating. But this phase does not last. True awareness does not create distance. It removes distortion. In science, clearer instruments do not detach observers from reality. They bring reality into sharper focus. Human awareness works the same way. As understanding stabilizes, life feels more immediate, not less. Colors feel sharper. Conversations feel more honest. Moments feel more complete. You are not watching life from afar. You are experiencing it without unnecessary filters. This is awareness without distance, where perspective deepens without disengagement. Ordinary life, after cosmic understanding, one of the most important truths is rarely emphasized. Cosmic understanding does not make life extraordinary. It makes it ordinary again, in the best way. After the questions soften and the searching ends, life returns to simple rhythms: eating, resting, working, connecting. But these activities feel different. Not elevated, not dramatic, just clearer. The universe does not ask for grand gestures. It does not reward intensity. It continues regardless. So life becomes less about proving significance and more about inhabiting it. Ordinary life is not beneath cosmic understanding. It is where that understanding belongs. Meaning as a practice, not a conclusion. Meaning is often treated like a destination, something to be discovered, defined, and held permanently. But the universe does not operate through conclusions. It operates through processes. Meaning functions the same way. It is practiced through attention, through care, through responsibility, not found once and kept forever. This is why meaning can feel present one day and distant the next. It is not broken, it is dynamic. Just as the universe requires continuous balance, human meaning requires continuous engagement. This is not a failure of understanding. It is how understanding lives. The quiet confidence of simply being here, the final shift is almost unnoticeable. There is no announcement, no certainty, no final realization. There is simply a quiet confidence. Not confidence that everything will be fine, but confidence that whatever happens, you can meet it. You stop measuring your life against infinity. You stop demanding permanence. You stop searching for confirmation. You are here. That is sufficient. The universe does not need you to explain it. It does not need you to justify your place within it. Your presence is already a fact. And within a universe that continues without pause, that fact is enough. When the need to understand becomes the ability to live for much of human history, understanding felt urgent. We wanted to know why things happen, where we belong, what it all means. This urgency was not curiosity alone. It was survival. Understanding reduced fear. Patterns created safety. But there comes a point where understanding matures. The questions don't disappear. They simply stop demanding answers right now. This is not intellectual exhaustion. It is psychological integration. In science, this moment happens when a theory becomes stable, not complete, but reliable enough to work with. Human understanding reaches a similar stage. You no longer need to explain life in order to live it. You no longer need certainty to participate. You no longer need the universe to resolve itself before you engage with it. Understanding transforms into orientation. You know how to move, even without knowing where everything leads. And that is enough. The universe does not ask for interpretation. One of the most liberating realizations is this. The universe does not require interpretation. It does not need to be decoded. It does not wait for belief. It does not respond to explanation. Stars form whether they are understood or not. Time moves whether it is defined or not. Life unfolds whether it is interpreted or not. Humans often feel pressure to make sense of everything, but sense-making is a human process, not a universal requirement. When this becomes clear, the mind relaxes. You are allowed to experience reality without translating it into meaning immediately. You are allowed to observe without concluding, to exist without narrating every moment. The universe does not test understanding, it accommodates presence, and presence does not require explanation. Living gently at the scale of a human life after the long view of cosmic time, human life returns to its true scale, not small, not insignificant, but human. You eat, you rest, you connect, you experience loss and joy in ordinary ways. Cosmic perspective does not remove these things. It steadies them. You stop asking life to be infinite. You stop demanding permanence from moments. You stop measuring worth by duration. You live gently, not because life is fragile, but because it is temporary. Gentleness becomes a form of intelligence. In the universe, systems that endure are not the most forceful. They are the most adaptive. Living gently is not withdrawal, it is precision, applying energy where it matters, releasing it where it does not. This is how a human life fits naturally inside a vast cosmos, not by trying to match its scale, but by honoring its own. The ending that is not an ending, there is no final conclusion to this story. No ultimate realization, no closing truth. The universe does not end with understanding. It continues with or without it, and so do you. This series does not end because something has been completed. It ends because the need to continue explaining has softened. What remains is participation. You wake up. You move through time. You respond to what appears. You live inside conditions that were never meant to be solved. You were never meant to finish the universe. You were meant to exist briefly within it. And that brief existence, aware, attentive and honest, is not incomplete. It is whole. The story does not stop here. It simply returns to where it has always been, the present moment. Inside a universe that continues quietly, steadily, without needing to be understood.